Derrick Henry is a rare breed. He has at one point been the best player at every level, rushing for the most yards in high school history before winning the Heisman Trophy in college. Now, after a bit of a bumpy start, Henry has proven that he is one of the best in the pros. In 2019, he was named an All-Pro after leading the NFL in rushing yards with 1,540. Henry has dominated on the football field his entire life, yet at the 2016 NFL Draft, he wasn't selected until the 45th pick in the second round by the Tennessee Titans. This is who was drafted before Derrick Henry. Derrick Lamar Henry Jr. was born in Yulee, Florida on January 4th, 1994. Henry attended Yulee High School where he played football, basketball, and track. He dominated at the running back position for the Hornets from the beginning of his freshman season. He ran for over 2,400 yards and over 25 touchdowns in every season. He was unstoppable all 4 years, but none compared to his senior season when he ran for 4,261 yards and 55 touchdowns. Henry was named Florida Mr. Football. He finished his career averaging over 250 yards per game and never rushed for less than 100. Henry owns the high school record for rushing yards in a career with 12,124. He added 153 touchdowns. He was named AP High School Player of the Year as a senior. Coming out of high school, Henry was the #1 recruit in the nation, regardless of position. He committed to play at Alabama under Nick Saban. He broke his leg in spring practices after graduating from high school early, but didn't miss a beat. Henry rarely saw the field as a true freshman, sitting behind Kenyon Drake and TJ Yeldon. He led the Crimson Tide to a national championship victory over Clemson. He broke SEC records with 2,219 rushing yards and 28 touchdowns. He took home plenty of awards, but none as big as the Heisman Trophy. Henry declared for the 2016 NFL Draft after his historic season, adding that he is one of the biggest running backs you will ever see and has rare top-end speed for a runner his size. At 6'3", Henry remains one of the largest running backs the league has seen, but there was a major concern coming into the draft. Scouts were worried about his workload after carrying the ball almost 400 times in his junior season with the Crimson Tide. Additionally, there was the notion that he was ineffective in passing game with below-average hands, something that still reigns true. The Tennessee Titans took Derrick Henry, selecting him with the 45th pick in the second round. Along with taking Henry, the Titans swapped 4th round picks with the Eagles to acquire DeMarco Murray. Henry spent his rookie campaign backing up Murray. He made his NFL debut in Week 1, recording 3 rushing yards and 41 receiving yards. In Week 8, he scored his first career touchdown against the Jaguars on an 8-yard run. During the Titans season finale, Henry ran for a then career high 65 yards and scored. He finished his rookie year with 110 carries for 490 yards and 5 touchdowns. The following season, Henry split carries again with Murray. In a Monday night victory over the Colts, Henry ran for a career-best 131 yards and scored a touchdown. He went for 100 yards again in Week 13 against the Texans. Tennessee made the playoffs after winning the AFC South. Henry finished the regular season with 744 yards and 5 touchdowns on 176 carries. Without an injured Murray, the Titans turned to Henry in the wildcard round versus the Chiefs. Ahead of the matchup, Henry was yet to make a name for himself in the pros, but that was soon to change. The Titans won narrowly 22-21 to advance to the next round. Henry put up the best performance of his career at the time, running for 156 yards and a touchdown. The Titans then fell in the divisional round to the Patriots. Henry was expected to make a huge jump in 2018, with many keeping a close eye on the third-year back. He split carries with offseason acquisition Dion Lewis for most of the season. Henry went from expected breakout star to major disappointment. He was used less and less as the season went on, and from weeks 4 to 13, he averaged 9 carries for 37 yards. Henry couldn't have been more of a disappointment, but that was soon to change this night. That included a wild 99-yard touchdown run to tie the NFL record. Finishing off 2 weeks of the regular season, Henry had a combined 177 yards and a touchdown. The season was rough early on for Henry, but it all turned out well. He finished the year with 215 carries for 1,059 yards and 12 touchdowns. For the second consecutive year, Henry came into a new season with huge expectations as everyone watched to see if the former Heisman winner, could fill those big shoes. And in 2019, he finally put it all together, establishing himself as one of the league's best. Henry started the year on a high note, rushing for 84 yards and a touchdown and adding a 75-yard touchdown reception in a blowout win over the Browns. He recorded his first 100-yard game in Week 4 against the Falcons. Henry continued to churn out yards through the season, going for 188 yards and 2 touchdowns in a close victory over the Chiefs in Week 10. He was named FedEx Ground Player of the Week. Tennessee was fully entrenched in a close battle for a wildcard spot, going into their bye week at 5-5. Looking to make a run to qualify for the postseason, Henry took over alongside Comeback Player of the Year Ryan Tannehill. The Titans won 3 straight coming out of the bye. Henry went for 159 yards and added 2 touchdowns against the Jaguars, had 149 yards and a touchdown the following week against the Colts, and in Week 14, rushed for 103 yards and a touchdown against the Raiders. Week 17 was a win-and-you're-in situation for the Titans, going up against the Texans. Henry, once again, led the way for the Titans, this time running for 211 yards and 3 touchdowns. The performance narrowly won him the NFL rushing title with 1,540 yards over Nick Chubb. He had career highs with 303 carries and 16 touchdowns. He was voted to his first Pro Bowl and named second-team All-Pro for his efforts. Henry wasn't done though. The number 6 seed Titans had to face the defending champion Patriots. Henry ran for 182 yards, the most ever given up by a Bill Belichick team, downing the New England Patriots in what was Tom Brady's final game. Tennessee then had to go up against the top-seeded Ravens in the divisional round and Lamar Jackson. In a shocking upset, Henry led the way with 195 yards on the ground, and he threw a touchdown to Corey Davis. Yes, threw. Somehow leading the number 6 Titans to an AFC Championship game against the Chiefs. But Patrick Mahomes was too much to handle as the Chiefs held Henry to 69 yards and a touchdown. With his rookie deal ending at the end of 2019, the Titans had a tough decision to make with both Henry and Tannehill coming up to free agency. They found a way to keep both studs, signing Tannehill to a monster deal and franchise tagging Henry. With the first overall pick in the 2016 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Rams selected Cal quarterback Jared Goff. Goff started his rookie season backing up Case Keenum. After spending the first 9 games of the year on the bench, Goff started the final 7. The Rams lost all 7 games Goff appeared in. The season was a rough outing for Goff, who finished the season with 1,089 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. Goff looked lost in his rookie season, but that was all that changed in 2017 with new head coach Sean McVay. The season was a success for Goff, who tremendously improved from his rookie season. He finished with 3,804 yards, 28 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. He made his first Pro Bowl and was ranked 38th on the NFL Top 100 list. In 2018, he improved on his prior breakout season, being named to his second Pro Bowl after throwing for 4,688 yards, 32 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. The Rams went 13-3 and received a first-round bye. Goff and the Rams rolled through the NFC and faced off against the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Goff had 229 yards in the game, but threw a costly interception late. The Patriots went on to win 13-3, containing Goff and the Rams offense. The Rams picked up his 5th-year option in the offseason and soon signed Goff to a 4-year, $134 million contract extension. 1 year removed from the Super Bowl, 2019 was a major disappointment for both Goff and the Rams. Los Angeles missed the playoffs entirely, and Goff declined with 4,638 yards, 22 touchdowns, and 16 interceptions. The Philadelphia Eagles own the 2nd selection, where they took North Dakota State's Carson Wentz. As a rookie, Wentz suffered a rib injury in the preseason but returned for the regular season. The Eagles had planned on sitting Wentz as a rookie, but the team then traded expected starter Sam Bradford to the Vikings and announced Wentz as their starter. Wentz started in every game for the Eagles, who finished with a 7-9 record. He set an NFL record with 379 completions as a rookie. Additionally, he recorded 3,782 yards, 16 touchdowns, and 14 interceptions. In his sophomore season, Wentz went on a tear to begin the year, passing for 1,362 yards and 10 touchdowns to only 3 interceptions through the first 5 weeks. His early success put him in the MVP race. The Eagles were rolling, and Wentz was playing at an MVP level, but in Week 14, everything changed. In a 43-35 victory over the Rams, Wentz left with a knee injury, which turned out to be a torn ACL. Wentz would miss the remainder of the season, finishing finishing with 3,296 yards, 33 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. He made his first Pro Bowl, was second-team All-Pro, and ranked 3rd on the NFL Top 100 list. But the Eagles' season wasn't doomed without Wentz. The Eagles' dominant defense and Nick Foles led the Eagles to the Super Bowl, where they defeated the Patriots 41-33 to win their first franchise Super Bowl. Injuries have been the story of Wentz's career dating back to college, but he looked to change the script in 2018. After missing the first 2 games of the season due to rehabbing his ACL, Wentz returned, but he and the Eagles struggled. Wentz went 5-6 with 3,074 yards, 21 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. Due to a back injury, the Eagles shut down Wentz for the year and put in Foles once again, who led the Eagles to the divisional round of the playoffs. In the 2019 offseason, the Eagles picked up his 5th-year option and signed him to a massive 4-year, $128 million extension. Wentz played in every game in 2019 for the first time since his rookie campaign, accumulating 4,039 yards, 27 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. Philadelphia won the NFC East, and Wentz was slated to play in his first career playoff game, despite the Eagles playing in 6 with him on the roster. In the contest, he suffered a concussion after only 9 snaps. The Eagles lost, and Wentz ended his season much like the previous 2, injured. Ohio State's Ezekiel Elliott was taken with the 4th pick by the Dallas Cowboys. Elliott won the starting job to play behind the league's best offensive line. He went on a tear to start his rookie season and surpassed 1,000 yards in just his 9th game. In Week 16, Elliott broke the Cowboys' rookie touchdown record and celebrated by jumping in a Salvation Army red kettle after scoring. He was the league's leading rusher with 1,631 yards. He added 15 touchdowns on 322 carries. Elliott was an early favorite for the 2016 Offensive Rookie of the Year, but ultimately lost to teammate Dak Prescott. Elliott made the Pro Bowl, was named first-team All-Pro, and was ranked 7th on the NFL Top 100 list. The Cowboys made the playoffs, where they were beat in the divisional round by the Packers. Heading into the 2017 season, Elliott was facing a 6-game suspension due to domestic violence accusations on 5 different occasions. He appealed the suspension, and it was put on hold. Later, the suspension was reinstated, and he faced the 6-game absence. He spent the off-time training and rehabbing in Mexico. Elliott returned for Week 16 against the Seahawks as the Cowboys lost to officially miss the playoffs. Elliott finished the season with 983 yards and 7 touchdowns on 242 carries. He was ranked 54th on the NFL Top 100 list. He returned to rookie form in 2018, eclipsing 1,000 rushing yards and leading the NFL with 1,434. He had 6 touchdowns on 304 carries, and for the first time in his career was regularly used in the passing game, accumulating 567 yards and 3 touchdowns. The Cowboys made the playoffs, where they again lost in the divisional round, this time to the Rams. Elliott made the Pro Bowl and was named second-team All-Pro. The Cowboys picked up the 5th-year option on Elliott's contract, but he held out of training camp in hopes of a new deal in the 2019 offseason. Ultimately, he was given a 6-year, $90 million contract extension and returned for Week 1. He put together another successful season, making the Pro Bowl with 301 carries for 1,357 yards and 12 touchdowns. 6th overall, the Baltimore Ravens selected Notre Dame offensive tackle Ronnie Stanley. Stanley's Tennessee Titans took Michigan State offensive tackle Jack Conklin with the 8th pick. Conklin has turned into a solid pro tackle and had a somewhat successful career thus far. He won the right tackle job out of training camp as a rookie. Pro Football Focus gave him the 5th highest rating among all offensive linemen in 2016 and 1st among rookies. He was named a first-team All-Pro. Conklin has seen some struggles due to injury since his rookie campaign, but has remained a solid player. He tore his ACL in the 2017 playoffs and ended his 2018 season on injured reserve due to a knee injury. The Titans declined his 5th-year option. He recently signed a 3-year, $42 million deal with the Browns. He isn't what he was as a rookie, but is surely a starting talent. Offensive tackle Laramie Tunsil from Ole Miss was the 13th selection at the draft by the Miami Dolphins. Tunsil was once the projected number 1 pick, but instead slid to 13 in one of the craziest draft day falls ever. His Twitter account was hacked and showed a picture of him in a gas mask smoking 10 minutes before the draft. Tunsil played guard as a rookie, but later took over the left tackle role in 2017 with the departure of Brandon Albert. Ahead of the 2019 season, he was traded to the Texans in a big trade that fetched Miami 2 first-round picks. Tunsil made his first Pro Bowl on the season. With the 15th overall pick, the Cleveland Browns selected Baylor wide receiver Corey Coleman. Coleman underwent hernia surgery ahead of the draft, causing him to miss most of the preseason. As a rookie, he played in 10 games, catching 33 passes for 413 yards and 3 touchdowns before breaking his hand during practice. Coleman returned for Week 1 in 2017, but broke the same hand the next week. He played in 9 games, catching 23 passes for 305 yards and 2 touchdowns. Coleman became frustrated with not getting first-team reps and asked to be traded. He was traded to the Bills, where he was released soon after. He was signed and released by the Patriots before landing on the Giants. He appeared in 8 games, making 5 catches. Unfortunately for Coleman, he tore his ACL during the first day of 2019 training camp. He still resides in New York. Coleman hasn't been able to stay healthy, and when he is on the field, he's not very good. The Detroit Lions own the 16th selection, where they took Ohio State offensive tackle Taylor Decker. Decker played left tackle as a rookie and played every snap, one of 2 Lions to do so along Matt Stafford. Decker had a successful season and made the PFWA All-Rookie team. Decker underwent shoulder surgery after the season. He has continued to be a good tackle in the league and even caught a touchdown pass in 2018. Alabama center Ryan Kelly was taken with the 18th pick by the Indianapolis Colts. Kelly has become a solid center in the pros, something the Colts wish to regain after the retirement of Jeff Saturday. Kelly made the Pro Bowl in 2019. 21st overall, the Houston Texans selected Notre Dame wide receiver Will Fuller. As a rookie, Fuller appeared in 14 games, making 47 receptions for 635 yards and 2 touchdowns. The future looked bright for Fuller after a solid rookie campaign, but it just hasn't happened. Fuller suffered from a broken collarbone ahead of his sophomore season and played in only 10 games. The Washington Redskins took TCU wide receiver Josh Doctson with the 22nd pick. Doctson dealt with an Achilles injury early in his career, causing him to miss the preseason and later re-aggravating the injury. He caught just 2 passes on the year. His rookie season would lead you to believe that his career was derailed by injuries, but as a Redskins fan, I can assure you that is not the case. Doctson missed a single game over the next 2 seasons. In 2017, he played in every game, making 35 receptions for 502 yards and 6 touchdowns. Then in 2018, he had 532 yards and 2 touchdowns on 44 receptions. The Redskins declined his 5th-year option and ultimately decided to release him. He spent time with the Vikings, most of it on injured reserve, and signed with the Jets in 2020. Doctson still has a chance to make it right in the pros, but I wouldn't count on it. Wide receiver Laquan Treadwell from Ole Miss was the 23rd selection at the draft by the Minnesota Vikings. Treadwell had a limited role as a rookie in Minnesota. He appeared in 9 games and caught a single pass. Over the last 3 years, he has only missed 4 games, but to put it lightly, he isn't good. He had 64 receptions for 686 yards and 2 touchdowns over the span. The Vikings declined his 5th-year option ahead of 2019, and he recently signed with the Falcons in March. File him under another disappointing wide receiver selection. With the 26th overall pick, the Denver Broncos selected Memphis quarterback Paxton Lynch. Lynch has had quite the odd NFL career. He started in only 4 games over the course of his career. He had 497 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception as a rookie before recording 295 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions the following season. He hasn't played in a regular season game since. Lynch was released ahead of the 2018 season in favor of Kevin Hogan. Yikes. He then spent brief time with the Seahawks and now resides with the Steelers. Lynch may be able to find himself on a practice squad, maybe a roster over the next few years, but don't expect to see him out there on Sunday. The San Francisco 49ers own the 28th selection, where they took Stanford guard Joshua Garnett. Garnett only played for the 49ers for 3 years. He was cut before the 2019 season. Over his tenure in San Francisco, Garnett had a knee injury and suffered a dislocated toe. He signed a 1-year deal with the Lions for 2020. Texas A&M offensive tackle Germain Ifedi was taken with the 31st pick by the Seattle Seahawks. Ifedi started the entire 2017 season and led the league in penalties with 16. The Seahawks declined his 5th-year option ahead of the 2019 season. In April, he signed a 1-year deal with the Bears. 35th overall in the 2nd round, the San Diego Chargers selected Arkansas's Hunter Henry. Henry started his career as the 3rd-string tight end for San Diego, but that changed quickly. He started in 10 games as a rookie and established himself as a stud end-zone target. He had 8 touchdowns, the most for a rookie tight end since Rob Gronkowski. He added 478 yards on 36 receptions. Henry has been great when on the field, but dealt with some injuries. He suffered a lacerated kidney at the end of the 2017 season after making 45 catches for 579 yards and 4 touchdowns. After returning from injury, he suffered a torn ACL and missed the entire 2018 season. Returning for the 2019 season, there were a lot of questions about Henry. Those would have to wait to get an answer after he suffered a tibia plateau fracture in his left knee. He returned to full health and played in 12 games. He had 55 receptions for 652 yards and 5 touchdowns. Henry is extremely talented and has a high ceiling, which is exactly why the Chargers franchise tagged him for this upcoming season. Let's just hope he can stay healthy. The New York Giants took Oklahoma's Sterling Shepard with the 40th pick. Shepard earned a starting spot on the Giants immediately and played in every game, catching 65 passes for 683 yards and 8 touchdowns. He was named to the PFWA All-Rookie team after his impressive campaign. Shepard has continued to improve since his rookie season. He has dealt with injuries on and off, but has become a reliable target for the Giants. He has recorded 182 receptions for 2,179 yards and 9 touchdowns since. Shepard isn't going to knock your socks off, but he has become a solid player in the pros, something you can't say about the 4 wide receivers ahead of him. And of course, with the 45th pick in the second round of the 2016 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans selected Alabama running back Derrick Henry. Unfortunately, Henry won't get the same Tannehill-type payday, and he shouldn't. That's how the NFL is. That being said, most of the offensive talents ahead of him have completely disappointed. Henry is without a doubt one of the league's top players heading into the 2020 season, and that's not much of a surprise if you look at his past. Henry has been a stud his entire life, which makes you wonder how 17 teams decided on another offensive player instead of him at the draft. This is Ben, who was drafted before Derrick Henry.